Hello. Welcome back to the Yegi Project. Today we're going to talk about self-talk. Now, what is self-talk? Honestly, we hear this term, but we don't fully pay attention to it. Self-talk, by definition, is the thoughts and the actual verbal things we tell ourselves about ourselves or about everything that's going on. More about ourselves. We sometimes could be our worst critic, but we want to switch that around and actually turn our self-talk into only positive self-talk, because that could really transform of who you are, how you think, how you behave, and how successful you become. Hi, I'm Yegi. I'm an entrepreneur and success coach who wants it all. Family, luxury, career, and the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I created the Yegi Project to document my journey and inspire others to do the same. My mission is to change the world by influencing and leading others to do what they love and live fulfilled lives. So I'm going to keep this episode short and sweet. And the reason for that is because it is very simple once I bring this into your attention, okay? So we also just launched our Patreon, and this is how I got the idea to do this episode. Because within our Patreon, what we're doing is we're working on ourselves, taking action and doing step-by-steps in order to grow ourselves, our mindsets, and also our businesses. So this link was missing so far from the content I have on there. So I wanted to talk about it on the podcast and encourage you to commit and go sign up for our Patreon, the basic package or the innovator package, so we can fully dive in and hold hands together and really get together with the Yegi Project community and grow. But before we can do that, I wanted to actually talk about self-talk, because this is one of the main things that's actually gonna boost our confidence in order for us to have that energy, to have that drive to be successful, right? We've discovered, and I've talked about on this podcast before, that confidence is key in order to be successful. But how do we build confidence if we don't have any, right? That's the hardest part. A lot of times we can build our confidence as a child and how we're raised and what environment and outside factors kind of play a role as we grow up, and that's kind of what makes us confident or not confident. However, as an adult, if we don't naturally have that confidence, it is really hard to just get it out of nowhere. We actually have to do some work in order to build the confidence. And the more we kind of win, or the more positive things that happen in our lives, the more confident we get. But we can't get that way unless we initiate it, okay? So within the Patreon and within the Yegi Project, we work on certain things to build the confidence first, so then we can work on everything else. Once the foundation is there, which is our confidence, then we can work on the skills to build ourselves, our business, and etc. The self-talk is one key way to build confidence if you don't have any, right? So here's the action plan, here's the goal, and this is what we're gonna work on in one of the weeks within our Patreon. And I keep saying Patreon, but that's the goal, right? We want to build a community and work on these things together. But this is what we can do for self-talk. We need to first take action and not sit down, but have our phones ready or have a notebook, journal ready, and catch ourselves with how we treat ourselves and what we say to ourselves and how we act. We can even have a friend that's aware, or the people that are around us all day, throughout the day, to kind of keep an eye on us and see how we're treating ourselves. Listen, if we had friends and family who always talked nasty to us, talked down upon us, called us ugly, called us fat, called us stupid, would we keep these people around? Would we want them to be our friends? Would we want them to literally be part of our lives? No, we wouldn't. We would not allow other people to treat us like shit. We would not accept them calling us names, right? Or after a while, we're just not going to show up for those people. We're just going to be distant from them. Unless So you have some weird, never mind. We're not going to talk about that. But anyways, we would never want to be around people who bring us down. But why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we call ourselves stupid? Or why do we even think the thoughts that we can't, we're not enough, we're ugly, or anything else, right? It's actually something that we are programmed to be thinking, because that's how we perceive ourselves. Now, if we switch that around and talk to ourselves in a loving, kind, compassionate, it's Valentine's Day, we have to love ourselves. That's first. We need to actually love ourselves and grow in order to also talk to ourselves nicely and build that positive self-talk, and then therefore it will lead to confidence and self-love. We've heard a lot about self-love, self-care. It's so important, but nobody tells us, okay, where do I start? Like, how do I actually start loving myself? And self-talk is one way, right? My whole purpose is to give you guys tools to act upon in order to get to where you need to get to have your perfect life. If it's personally, in business, financially, family, whatever you want it to be, whatever your perfect is to you. This is the action plan. We are going to literally pay attention, write down, and ask our friends and family, coworkers, whoever's around us all the time, to catch every time we say something negative about ourselves. And if you actually do this exercise for 1 week, you will notice how bad we are. You might not even want to be your own friend. That's how bad we are for ourselves sometimes. So we don't notice it. We're just programmed and we think that's the way it is. That's how we see ourselves. But if we change this around and actually turn it into positive self-talk, it's slowly going to program us to see ourselves and envision ourselves in that new way. So the first thing we want to do is we want to sit down and describe our perfect self. How would I be if I was perfect in my own interpretation, right? How would I look? How would I feel? How would I act? What would I do? All of that stuff. So once you can fully define that, then you basically are gonna act like that person that you want to be until you become that person. Now, it may sound crazy, but it's another way. That's why we kind of hear also people saying fake it until you make it, right? There is some truth to that. Like, I don't like people who fake anything, but I like to call it act in a way until it becomes real. And this is also why affirmations work, okay? It's kind of part of positive self-talk. So we want to literally first envision the perfect person we want to be. Next thing, we're pretty much going to convince ourselves that we are that person. And by doing that, we're slowly also going to shift and change the way we act, the way we talk to ourselves. And almost once we kind of once we see ourselves as this new person that we want to be, then we will slowly become that person, and we would continue talking to ourselves in that way. So every time now you catch yourself saying something negative, like, oh, I'm so stupid, even if we think we're just saying it as a phrase, our words have a lot of power. So anytime you say that, turn around and instead give yourself a compliment. Anything. So if you catch yourself saying, oh, I'm so stupid, turn around and say, no, I am so smart. I graduated high school, or I got my bachelor's degree. Anything, right? Anything positive you can say about yourself. Or next time you think that, oh my gosh, I didn't finish my project, I'm so slow. No, instead say, hey, I actually started and I'm working on something. So find a way to turn your self-talk positive, and slowly it will also become a habit, and it would encourage you and drive you to be a more confident, happier person. And that's who you need to become in order for you to be more successful. It's just a pure foundation. I think that's actually a very simple, very effective action plan, and now you have to put in the work. So literally grab a journal, grab your phone, and for the next week, pay attention to your self-talk and see what you're saying. And then you can literally write out a phrase that could replace that negative self-talk. So then you can change that and, work on yourself. Within this, the other exercise was power posing. We talked about that within the initial episodes of the podcast, but here's a quick reminder of what you can do also to complement or supplement your positive self-talk. You can use a power pose every morning or every midday whenever you feel like you need that confidence boost. You basically do a power pose, and we'll link that episode below so you can see the different power poses. But even if you just Google power poses, you'll see the different examples. You hold that pose for about 2 minutes, and studies have shown that significantly improves your confidence. So every morning you wake up, dress the way you want to dress, get groomed, makeup, hair, whatever you want to do to feel your best, and hold your power pose for 2 minutes. Even if you don't feel like it, you will see that you will get your day started in a more happy, positive, confident way, and then do your self-talk throughout the day. Give yourself compliments. It may sound crazy, but I promise you it works. If you don't do the work, nobody else will do it for you. And if you want to be successful in anything, first, your confidence needs to be built. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and you have very simple, easy, but you need to put in the work and actually do it. Don't forget to go check out our Patreon. I'm trying to build a community that I always dreamed of so we can really work on things together. I want to get to know all the people behind the web and really see where you guys are at, what you're up to, and how I can be part of it, or we can be part of it together to grow. Bye. Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.